Welcome to part 2 of the lesson on drop chords. If you have not watched part number 1, make sure to do so. In it are some fundamentals that are useful to know. Briefly though, we mentioned the difference between closed voicings and open voicings, and we also demonstrated how difficult it is to invert closed voicing chords on the guitar. Very fortunately, drop chords happen to be some of the easiest chords you can play on the guitar, and they also sound good. They were not invented, as it were, for the guitar. People have been using them for piano, of course, and also for writing for horn sections for decades. But they happen to work really well on the guitar. So let's jump right in and explain what they are. In a drop voicing, you look at the notes that you have in a chord, and you drop one of the notes or more, maybe two of the notes, an octave. So if we look at this closed voicing, pitch-wise, the second note from the top is the G. Let's play them the other way. B, G, E, and C. Second note from the top, if we want to play a drop 2 voicing, we'll drop the second note from the top, is this G, and we'll drop it down an octave. Now we are left with the notes G, C, E, and B on top. Now, just because these three notes are played on the bottom 3 strings, then I'm skipping a string and playing this B on the second string, I'm going to transfer this B note to the 3rd string. It's the mechanical guitar thing. It's not a musical thing. It's just a convenience of playing. And what I'm left with is this voicing. This voicing has the G at the bottom, of course, because we lowered the second note from the top, the G, by an octave. What this means is that this is a second inversion. The inversions are named as follows. When you have the root in the bass, that is your root position chord. If you have the 3 in the bass, that's the first inversion. The second inversion will have the 5 in the bass, and the third inversion will have the 7 in the bass. Of course, assuming that we are talking about 4-note chords in which you have a 1, 3, 5, and 7. So let's look at this order again. G, C, E, and B. Once again, we started with this closed voicing position of C major 7. We took the second note from the top, pitch-wise, that was the G. We dropped it an octave, and we played the remaining notes as before. We are left with G, C, E, and B on the second string. And just for convenience of playing, I'm transferring this B now from the second string to the 3rd string, 4th fret. Together, G, C, E, and B. So let's look at the properties of this chord. As we mentioned, it is a C major 7 because it has the notes C, E, G, and B, although not in that order. It is a open voicing. How is it open? Well, here's a G and here is a C. In between those, there is a B note that we could be playing, but we're not. That makes it an open voicing. Which open voicing? It's a drop 2 because we dropped the second note from the top. We're also observing that we are playing it on the bottom 4 strings of the guitar. It stands to reason that we can play this voicing somewhere on the middle 4 strings and on the upper 4 strings. And we will indeed do so in a moment. The next thing we want to do, or we're asking ourselves, okay, if this is the second inversion with a 5 in the bass, where is the root position? What does that look like? Well, to find out what that is, we need to invert this chord twice. From the second inversion to the 3rd inversion, and then after the 3rd inversion will come the root position. Now remember, I referred to a lesson I have here on YouTube about how to invert any chord on the guitar. You want to check that out because the concept of what we're going to do next is illustrated in great detail there. Accordingly, I'm going to invert this chord one time up, and I'm going to come up with this voicing. Still on the bottom 4 strings, still a C major 7, still drop 2, but a different inversion. This one has the B in the bass, meaning that it's a 3rd inversion. Now my notes are B, E, G, and C. Invert this one once more, and we have this shape. Still on the bottom 4 strings, still drop 2, still C major 7. Now the notes are C, G, B, and E. And just to be thorough, I'm going to invert this once more, so we'll have all 4 inversions of C major 7 drop 2 on the bottom 4 strings. Still bottom 4 strings, still C major 7, still drop 2. Now the notes are E, B, C, and G. What we want to do next is transfer these 4 chords to the other groups of 4 strings on the guitar, and we're going to do that next. And just before we finish this part 2 of the lesson, just to kind of catch your ear a little bit, just remaining on the same 4 strings, remaining on drop 2, I'm going to change the nature of the chord. So let's see what that sounds like. This is a C major 7. What's a C7 sound like? Well, find the B and turn it into a B flat. What if I want to play a C minor 7? Well, find the E, turn it into an E flat. C minor 7 flat 5. Let's go back to C major 7. What about a C major 7 sharp 5? Well, find the 5, the G, raise it a half a step. C major 7 flat 5. And so on and so forth. You can change any of these notes to anything that you want them to be. You can lower, well, C major 7 or C7 flat 5. You can further take the 7th and lower it to a 6, make it into a 6. Why not? You get this chord. And this is just second inversion. And just for the heck of it, we'll move it up to the 3rd inversion. And same thing. Here's a C major 7, C7, C minor 7, C minor 7 flat 5, C major 7 again, find the 5, raise it half a step, C major 7 sharp 5. And same thing for all the inversions. C major 7 sharp 5, C major 7 flat 5, and so on.